member for Hasluck.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. We can all appreciate the seriousness of an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in Indonesia and the devastating impact FMD would have on Australia's livestock industry. Thankfully, there is no evidence that FMD is currently in Australia. And as my colleagues made mention of last time this motion was debated, we certainly plan on that remaining the case. Without the continued vigilance of this government, FMD poses a massive risk to Australia's livestock industry. Western Australia has a thriving livestock industry, including, I'm proud to say, in parts of my electorate of Hasluck. The WA meat and livestock industry runs into the billions of dollars of domestic and exported product. We are a world leader in meat exports, high-quality beef, sheep and pork, as well as leaders in superfine wool production. In Hasluck, we are very much alive to the importance of vigilance when it comes to biosecurity. The Swan Valley and the Perth Hills both run through my electorate and produce world-class wines, cheeses, table grapes, stone fruit, apples and much more. The threat of pest and disease is ever present. The prosperity of the region and the massive contribution it makes to our economy is reliant on everyone, including this government, to do the right thing. Last week, I met Graham Ukich at Oakover Wines in the Swan Valley. Not only is he growing vines for wine production, he's also distributing around 250 types of cheese to retailers around WA. He is relying on the measures that this government is taking to protect the dairy industry in Australia. And just outside my electorate in York, my sister and her husband run a flock of sheep. They too are relying on the action of our government that is taken to protect our industries. I know all too well the potential dangers FMD presents. This is why I'm happy to talk about the action our government is taking to ensure the safety and success of industry here in Australia. The measures begin with providing support to Indonesia to combat the outbreak. Indonesia, and specifically Bali, are a short flight away from Perth Airport, and few people love heading over to Bali for a bit of R&R more than us sandgropers. The Australian government has committed $14 million in immediate funding to manage the increased threat of foot and mouth disease and lumpy skin disease, in addition to $1.5 million to supply vaccines in Indonesia, and $550,000 to support the industry-led assistance made available by Meat and Livestock Australia. This is in addition to providing biosecurity officers granted extra powers under the Biosecurity Act of 2015 to direct returning travellers to use the sanitising foot mats in Australian airports, providing increased education resources such as flyers, airport announcements, online advertising to ensure travellers are made aware of their biosecurity responsibilities. Biosecurity detector dogs in Darwin and Cairns airports risk profiling 100% of passengers that come into Australia from Indonesia. By providing this expert technical advice, vaccines and financial support to Indonesia, we can significantly minimise the risk of introducing FMD while maintaining positive bilateral relations with our important close neighbour. The government will continue to listen to the experts and work with industry to make sure we have the best possible calibration on our response to this very serious situation. And it cannot be overstated just how seriously this government is taking this issue. We are led in this area by the Minister for Agriculture, Senator Murray Watt, and his record of swift action speaks for itself and has kept Australia free from FMD. I'm sure the Minister welcomes any constructive advice of this Parliament or the public have on this issue. And it's right to raise the valid concerns of people directly engaged in the livestock industry without becoming unduly alarmist or playing politics with what is a very serious matter. One area that has been properly raised are concerns about the effect feral animal populations such as pigs might have on the spread of FMD if it got a foothold. The need to address feral animals has been covered by the State of the Environment report and is a matter this government takes very seriously. In the midst of our valid concerns about industry, I would also like to add that we should spare a thought for the animals themselves. I know firsthand that for many farmers, this is the most immediate and distressing part of having to deal with disaster, whether it be disease, flood, fire or other. People who work with animals never want to see those animals suffer. We should also recognise and thank the overwhelming majority of travellers who are doing the right thing, taking their responsibility seriously and playing their role to keep FMD out of Australia. It is greatly appreciated by the government, by farmers, and everyone who relies on crucial agricultural and livestock industries.
The question is